Hey, what up, fellas? It's your boy J Rock. Today I'm gonna be hitting you with a mail call. Just got quite a few boxes, about 5 boxes, 6 boxes, I believe. As usual, it's a few fragrances, few books, so we'll intertwine. Show a few fragrances, then a few books, then a few fragrances, and back and forth. So yeah, this video might run a little long 'cause I got a few packages, so let's just go ahead and get started. All right, first off, one of the bottles I got a 30 ml decan of Andy Warhol. It's been getting some buzz around the community, and I heard of this through Matt from Georgia Gents, and I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and check out this house, this clone house. It's Scentual Obsessions. This is the sticker here. It's a nice logo. There's like a gold S with a ring around it, kind of like the Lord of the Rings. I'm digging this. Essential Obsessions here, luxury perfumes. This is the 30 ml bottles. The one thing I wasn't the hugest fan of is you see on the top here it says our formulation of Andy Warhol, but the stickers on the top, which I wish maybe they would have put it back here or maybe up here somehow or included it in the label, because my issue with that is when you take the top off, sometimes I have people over and they try out different fragrances and so forth. And when you have a lot of people, they could mix these tops up. Then they'll put this top on one of the other ones, and then one of the other tops will come on this one, and you'll get confused about which fragrance is what. So I wish it was directly on the bottle. The cap is basic cap. It's a light plastic. Gets the job done though. I do like the sprayer they went with. It's pretty big, long neck here, but it sprays really good. Might go ahead and do a spray for you in a minute just so you could get an idea of how it sprays. And the caps do fit very nicely. I would even say so you could lift it from the top. I wouldn't recommend it though. I would not recommend it from the tops. I would just rather hold it from the bottle. But you can. Just gotta be a little careful with it. So yeah, this is the first one, Andy Warhol. I'll test these out, give an initial impression. Got a few test strips here. So this is the first one. Let's see what else we got. All right, I sprayed this on. I checked out the opening. Then I let it sit here for a good hour already, just to kind of see if it goes through any progressions and see where we're at right now. It's pretty sweet. On the opening, you do get that plum note for sure. It's still there right now, but I like how it smells more right now than in the opening, because in the opening it came off a little strong for me. And right now, where it's at after an hour drying down, I feel you're getting some of the other notes are starting to show, but the plum note is still like in the forefront. But you're starting to get some other smells in here, and it's to me a more pleasant smell right now, like an hour in. So yeah, it's pretty good so far. Another one I got here is Lost Cherry. I got 30 mils of each. I was gonna get some of the big bottles, but I figured if I get 30 mils, I could try out more of them. So I just buy a bunch of little bottles, and the ones I like more, I'll buy the bigger bottles of down the road, or try out the original ones and see how they differ or how they're similar. Alright, the next one was Lost Cherry. On the opening, you definitely got that cherry note, but it's not like a natural cherry. Which, if you ever smell cherries, it's not the most exciting flavor. The artificial cherries always have a better smell to them, in my opinion, and a more distinct smell as well. Now this came off as a very syrupy cherry, and very sweet as well. And once it dries down, it's still kind of the same. I haven't seen it go through much. I haven't seen it go through much progression or anything. This is an hour later. It's still kind of the same smell I got in the opening. Just I don't know if I just got more used to it or it's just not as strong anymore. But I get like these type of cherries type of smell. If you smell the liquid in these type of cherries that you put on sundaes, your ice cream sundaes and stuff like that. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's a very syrupy type of cherry, the liquid itself. That's what this smells like. And then you could say even a little bit like the cough syrup, like a mixture of the both. But what came to my mind right away was this, which is not a bad smell. I like it, but it's kind of linear. This is supposed to be an imitation of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Now, if Tom Ford's Lost Cherry smells like this, I don't know how accurate it is to it. I've never smelled it, but if it's, let's say, it's 95% accurate or 100, right? If it's like this, I think at 30 bucks, 40 bucks for what these bottles cost, it's not bad, but this is not something I would pay 150 or $200 for this scent. Find it kind of linear and not a lot of depth or character to it. It's something I smelled a lot in before. Not necessarily in fragrances, just outside, like for these cherries, for example. All right, let's check out a few books, then we'll get to more of the fragrances. All right, now this first book, I had this made myself. I paid for it to be made. This is Gen 13. This was some comics I used to read back when I was starting to get into my teens, when I was like 11, 12. And to make this book, I'll make a separate video talking about the process. But I chose this, like I looked for the picture online. I told them what picture to put in the front, what pictures to put here in the side. Like I chose all this out myself, and I designed it. I obviously screwed up here. That's too high, too much gap there. It's kind of a learning process. But yeah, you send them the designs. I did this, and I picked all these info. I wrote all this right here. Then I just emailed the company the pictures, what I want to be the front cover, back cover, and the spine. And then all these single issues inside. This is a company that these comics no longer exist. It's not like Batman or Superman that they're always going to be around. These are companies or some comics that, they have a set plan. They go 100 issues or whatever, and the story's done. So once they're done, they will never make a complete edition like this, like in a thick book. So you kind of have to have these made yourself. I'll do a separate video talking about the prices and the process and so forth, a little more in depth. And see one here, this is pretty good. You see the gutter loss. You can still see the picture pretty well. Sometimes you get more loss in between. Here is not too bad. Depends what company you go with and what type of sewing they do. These are sewn on and also, I believe, glued. Now, you want them to have this in the middle. Whenever you buy some of these, you want them to have this inside. You want them to have the little hole like this, because the better this is, the less gap you get in the middle. So make sure you have that. This was done with a bunch of the single issues that are like, the original issues are like this, like magazine format. I'll show the process how you gotta rip them apart and show them. And put them in the order you're gonna want them to make them. You just send them out to them in the order you want, and they sew them in that order. Then they put the covers that you choose. I'm pretty happy with this. It looks good. Like I said, I'll make a separate video with the info on the prices and where you could check out their website and so forth. Okay, let's see the other one. I had another book of these. There's another book, this Savage Dragon. Some of you might be more familiar with this one. This one had cartoons made. This is the cover I chose. I think it looks pretty dope. I'm digging it. I designed this spine. So I put volume 1 because this one has more issues, so I made a few of these as volume 1. The only problem here is I thought I had sent them a picture to put on the back, but I guess I didn't. Which I don't mind if it doesn't have a picture on the back, but I wish I would have had like at least written what issues are in the book, so you at least know what content to expect in here. But it sadly does not have that. These ran me about 40 bucks each, not including the single issues themselves. These I already had, but to have them made, it's about 40 bucks each. Here's some of the books. Always rip out the ads and all that. You don't want these in these books because it's just gonna make the book fatter. Here you got this right here is very well done. I'm very happy with the way these came out. Like I said, I think it costs you $20 for them to put this cover and the back cover, the whole cover thing is 20. Then to sew all the books together, I think it's another 15, so that's 35. So it's about $35 each book, something around those lines. Okay, well, let's get to some more fragrances. All right, the next one is Crete Viking. I have the original one, so I'll be doing a comparison video down the line once I give this one a good wearing. Because right now I haven't even worn them on skin. I'm just doing them on the strips. So as we all know, on the strips they could come off completely different. Also, I'm indoors, so once you're walking around, you're doing other stuff. The scent could change depending on the heat and so forth. Now this one on the if you guys are familiar with Crete Viking, it develops kind of slow in general. When you first spray it, it smells kind of simplistic. You gotta give it time to do its thing. You gotta give it an hour or so. So even with the original one, it takes a while to get going. And the wow factor to me is not really there in the opening. It's like you gotta let everything else, all the other notes start coming out. Then it becomes real interesting and something that I really enjoy. This one I get a strong mint note. It's pretty fresh, but I'm not getting as much of the floors as in the original. This one's also a slow developer because it does smell more interesting right now. Now an hour in than when I first sprayed this. It's not bad. It's refreshing, but not like a fresh lemon or orange. It's a different type of freshness. If you're familiar with mint, you kind of have a rough idea of what I'm talking about. It's not too bad so far. Right now, I'll say it's maybe somewhere around 70% of what Crete Viking is. I'll have to compare them side by side and let them develop at the same time. Okay, and the last one is Velvet Exotic Leather from Dolce Gabbana, the Velvet line. It's kind of like their more niche line, if you will. This one's good. This one's banging. I'm really digging this one. It's nice from the opening and it just gets better as well. It has what I would picture velvet, like a velvet cake or something, and it has a bit of a spicy kick to it. Not sure what that is, but it has some spiciness to it. I definitely don't get any leather off the strip though, cause I seen some reviews and they say that the original has it smells like leather and it has a bit of a light tobacco note. I'm not getting that on this. Never smelled the original, but I am considering buying it. So I thought, going with a clone first, seeing how I like it, might be a smart move. And I like this enough where even just off the strip, I haven't even gave it a full wearing. I just got these right now. But I like this enough where I'm considering buying the original bottle and see how it differs. Even if it smells just like this, I'd 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 be happy with it. I'd be happy with it. But if it smells exactly like this, I'd go back to buying this one more often. But yeah, this is a good one. This is might be my. I think this one, based on the strips, this one and Warhol are yeah, they're both real nice. But I think I'm gonna go with this exotic leather as my number one. Has it's called exotic velvet exotic leather. I smell velvet and it smells exotic to me. It has some sex appeal to it. I don't get leather though. Nonetheless, it's a nice scent. This one's a banger for me. It's a winner so far. I can't wait to wear it a few times and take it out for a test drive. The Warhol one would probably come in second for me. Based on the strips, I think I would go with the Warhol second, Viking third, and the Lost Cherry is I guess it's all personal taste depending on how much you like this cherry note. If you put on your car fresheners or on your bathroom, you like cherry scent. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna love it. For me personally, I do like the smell, but as in a fragrance, it's just something I smelled a million times in other stuff. Like I said, car fresheners, hand soaps. While it's not bad, it's my least favorite out of the four. That would come in fourth. Now let's get to some of the other bottles I got. All right, let's get into some more books. This is the Savage Dragon Volume 2. He discovered because this one is kind of like the death of him, and he comes back from the grave to destroy his nemesis. So I went with this cover. This should be the issues 25 to I think it's 25 to 53, something like that. That's the spine. This one they kind of the spine it's a little wonky, like they stretched out the picture, so the letters here and the character here look a little blurry, and the number two is a little bigger here than it is on the first one. So that was a little but it's not a huge deal. The book itself, this one's blue on the back instead of black. Spine is still good. You still get the hole and everything. Everything else is good. Just this one, since they changed the font a little, it doesn't perfectly match with the spine of the other one. But yeah, so here in these two books, I have the first like about 53 issues of Spawn of Savage Dragon. I mean, and it does have issues of Hellboy and the Ninja Turtles and Spawn, other cool characters here that do crossovers. This gets very wacky and off the rails from what I remember. I haven't gone back to read this in a long time, but I will now to reread them and re-experience them in a new, different way. This one is Fire from Heaven. Is the front of it. It's an old Wildstorm universe, if you're familiar with it. And there's the back. I chose those two pictures there. The one bad thing is the spine here. I screwed it all up. Like I said, it's a trial and error thing. It's my first time having this done. So it's the first time for me designing the covers and so forth. See those letters there? They have like white in between them and so forth. So that kind of looks jacked up. I should have got this white, the spine, and then the letters just are how they are. That way you wouldn't have all that in between. It's kind of crappy, but whatever. That was my own fault because I chose that design. Now this, that Gen 13 book I showed you earlier, if you notice it said on the back issues 1 through 9, then 12 to 24. So you don't have issues 10 and 11 there because they're in here. Issues 10 and 11 happen during this storyline, like they're tie-ins to this big event where you have like Savage Dragon issue 20 and so Spawn issue 13, whatever. All those issues, they go in here. So that's why I didn't include them on the other ones. Once you get to issue 10, you would read this. Then once this whole book ends, you go back and finish the other half of that Gen 13 book. You go back and start from issue 12, 13, 14, because 10 and 11 would be in here. And this, I don't remember ever reading this storyline. I bought these books, the issues in here. I bought these as an adult. I never read this as a kid. Because back then I didn't buy the times. I just bought issue 1, 2, 3, 4. And if something happened in between issue 4 and 5 that you had to buy another book, I wouldn't buy them. I just continue on issue 5 and I'll be all lost. But now as an adult, I wanted to get the stuff that happens in between. So this would be it. I bought them and I had them custom bound. These weren't the easiest to find either. Because since it's an old series from like 94 that no longer exists, you have to go back and look for the old books. But yeah, I gave all these the old Image logo just so that when I put them on the shelf, they would, they'll match like that. They all have the logo. Kind of like how all those red Marvel books all have the red Marvel line right there. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing to give it that effect like they're originally from the store like that, even though I had these customly made myself. So if I ever do sell all those other ones, I think these would be ones I keep because I had these made myself, and these are based on, except for this one, the rest are based on comics I've had from when I was younger. So they have a little bit more nostalgia and sentimental value, if you will. So these would be probably some that always stay in my collection. Okay, so enough about that. Like I said, I'm gonna do some separate videos on these and get more in depth. Now let's get to the remaining fragrances. All right, let's go ahead and get to the last batch right here. This one I got about a week ago, but I haven't made a video about it because I was waiting to get some more stuff in so I could do a whole haul. This is Aramis Tobacco Reserve. This is a very underrated fragrance. I don't see a lot of videos on it or a lot of talk on it. I think part of it is this fragrance has been discontinued, which is part of what made me want to pick it up. I like collecting discontinued stuff because it's not gonna be around later, so it's cool to have a few fragrances that nobody else will have or that are a little harder to find. It's kind of like you have a different you differ from the pack when you have a few fragrances that are not in other people's collections. This I'm surprised why I got discontinued. This is a real nice fragrance. I gotta think it's because of the name. I think the name hurt it. Tobacco Reserve. People see that they think a strong tobacco note, kind of dark, more for an older gentleman. So I think people didn't bother with it. But if you smell it, this is a scent that's very mass appealing in my opinion, and it has a very sexy, alluring vibe to it. It's a clean, powdery scent with some type of spice and a nice sweet tobacco leaf. Very nice. I can't wait to give this some proper wear. And since it's been discontinued, you can still find it around $50. Before the price goes up, I would definitely get it at 50. I think it's well worth the $50. And you even get a little extra juice. It's the normal big bottles are 100 mils. This one's 110. So you get a little extra juice in the bottle. The next one, let me know in the comments who hasn't tried this. Come on, the whole world knows what this is. Who hasn't tried it? If you haven't tried it, let me know in the comments. And if you have, let me know. Are you on the? Do you like it? Are you pro or are you against? Cause this has a very divisive fan base. Like half the people love it, half the people hate it. Me in my younger days, in my early 20s, I never smelled this in my teens. I didn't smell this till my early 20s. And it was always one of those fragrances that I kept going back and forth on. Some days I would really like it, like friends of mine would own it or whatever. I'll wear it and I'll really like it some days. And some days I would find it really off-putting when I would wear it or somebody else. I'll be like, what are you wearing? And then some days I would like it. So I never fully loved it enough to go ahead and buy a bottle myself. And now, as I started collecting fragrances, you kind of have a better idea of what you're doing with them with certain fragrances like this one. You kind of have a better idea. Keep it away from hot weather. Don't wear it on the summer. Don't wear it on 80 plus degrees. This is for something under 80 degrees, and it smells pretty good. But when you wear it in the heat, it smells. I really don't like it when it's in the heat. This is a terrible choice. And I think that's when I was younger, I just throw it on no matter when, right? If it was there, oh, let me throw some on. Or sometimes my friends that would own it, they wear it as a signature scent, no matter what time of year it was. And now you know why some days it will smell terrible and some days it'll smell good. Well, because you're using it, you're not using it properly, if that makes sense. When I used to watch videos and they said stuff like that, I didn't know what they meant. I was like, that's stupid. Like, what are you talking about? But as you start using the fragrances yourself, you start knowing what they mean. You're like, oh, I kind of get what you mean now. Like, yeah, it doesn't work in this weather or whatever, right? But yeah, so I got this one. I bought it used on the fragrance groups. See where the bottle's at there. But this is more than enough juice for me. I don't need more than that. It's still a very good amount. It's about, I would say, close to 40 mils, maybe 30, over 30. It's a good amount. It'll last me a long time. All right, the last one on the haul is this one, Armani Court Profumo. If you watch my videos, you watch my collection. This is the third time the third bottle of this I've gotten. Now, the first bottle I think was a dud. It was like like bootleg, right? It wasn't original. So it smelled similar to the OG one. So when you sprayed it, it's like, yeah, it smells like the real thing. So like, yeah, it's good, right? 30 minutes in, an hour in, and the scent would change. Then an hour and a half in, it would just be gone. So I was like, yeah, this isn't real. So then I went ahead and bought another one. Once I got the real juice, I was working. I wanted to buy a fragrance off somebody. They didn't want to sell it. They wanted to make a trade, and they took a look at my collection, and what they wanted was the Profumo. And I was iffy about it. Like, do I want to trade it or do I want to keep it? And at the end of the day, I ended up trading it for something else. But now I got it back. And this is a smaller bottle. The one I had was the big bottle. I think it was like 4 ounces or 5 ounces. It was the big bottle. This is the smaller one. I think this one's 2.5. Know where it says. But anyways, this is a smaller one. And this is more than enough juices. With the amount of bottles I have nowadays, this is gonna last me a long time. It's a great scent. Also a bit powdery. I would say it has that powdery texture feel to it. It's similar to this one. It has the same powdery texture. Not the scent itself, just the texture, the vibe it gives off. I will say maybe 15% similarity to this. It's a nice scent. If you watch my review, obviously I got a real high score because I like it. But I thought it didn't differ. It wasn't different enough from the original. But the more I smell it, I think I spoke uh, ahead of time, if you will. I jumped the gun because the more I smell it, I think it is different enough from the original. I still like the original more, but I think it's different enough where it warrants having both. And don't worry, I know all the buzz is about Armani Court, Absolute. That's what everybody's talking about. Don't worry, fellas. I went ahead and ordered that one. Haven't got my nose on it yet, but can't wait for it to get here and give my own opinion on it. That's it, guys. If you like what you saw, you wanna be notified, you wanna make sure you don't miss a beat, go ahead and hit that bell, hit that subscription, and then a bell's gonna come out. Hit that bell so it'll notify you each and every time. And if you wanna follow me on my other social medias, in the description down below, it's gonna give you links to all my other stuff, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth. Go ahead and hit those links, and I'll keep in contact with you guys there. And that's about it, guys. Check us out next time.